Welcome back. Let's get started. Weird science. Can we affect the past? Oh yeah, this is good. Since we're all interconnected across distance and time, does this suggest that our thoughts and feelings can influence events in our past as well as those we desire into our future? In July 2000, Israeli doctor Leonard Lebovici conducted a double-blind, randomized control trial involving 3393 hospital patients, divided into a control group and an intercession group. He set out to see whether prayer, sorry, there are tiny little bugs that come in with my soil, my potting mix. Pro tip, boil water and pour it into your new soil mix so that those little bugs don't all get spread out through all your house plants. Okay, back to this. 3,393 hospital patients were divided into a control group and the intercession group. He set out to see whether prayer could actually have an effect on their condition. Prayer experiments are great examples of mind affecting matter at a distance, but stay with me because everything is not always what it seems. So Lebovici selected patients who had suffered sepsis, which is an infection, while hospitalized. He randomly designated half the patients to have prayers said for them, while the other half were not prayed for. He compared the results in 3 categories: how long their fever lasted, the length of hospital stay, and how many died as a result of the infection. The prayed for benefited from an earlier decrease in fever and a shorter hospitalization time. The difference in the number of deaths among the prayed for and not prayed for groups was not statistically significant, although better in the prayed for group. That's a powerful demonstration of the benefits of prayer and how we can send an intention out into the quantum field through our thoughts and feelings. However, there's one additional element to this story that you should know about. Did it strike you as slightly odd that in July 2000, a hospital would have more than 3,000 cases of infection at once? Was it a very poorly sterilized place, or was some kind of contagion running rampant? Actually, those who were praying weren't praying for patients who were infected in 2000. Instead, unbeknownst to them, they were praying for lists of people who had been in the hospital from 1990 to 96, 4 to 10 years before the experiment. The prayed for patients actually got better during the 90s from the experiment conducted years later. Let me say this another way. The patients who were prayed for in the year 2000 all showed measurable changes in health, but those changes took effect years before. What? A statistical analysis of this experiment proved that these effects were far beyond coincidence. This demonstrates that our intentions, our thoughts and feelings, and our prayers not only affect our present or future, but they can actually affect our past as well. So how do I go back in time and choose a different baby daddy and husband? A statistical analysis of this experiment proved that these effects were far beyond coincidence. This demonstrates that our intentions, our thoughts and feelings, and our prayers not only affect our present or future, but they can actually affect our past as well. Now, this leads to the question, if you were to pray or focus on an intention for a better life for yourself, could it affect your past, present, and future? The quantum law says that all potentials exist simultaneously. So, time is really not external. Time is just something that we use to perceive distance through the journey. But from the 4th dimension, if you're looking from outside the 4th dimension, you would see the full timeline, start to end, and the whole life would be impacted by, a prayer or an intention that was set from the perspective of the external, outside of time dimension. Sometimes I see myself and what I'm talking about, and I think I'm such a nerd. Now this leads to the question, future. The quantum law says that all potentials exist simultaneously. Our thinking and our feelings affect all aspects of life, beyond both space and time. Our state of being or state of mind, when mind and body are one. Please note, throughout this book, I will refer interchangeably to your having and creating a state of being or a state of mind. For example, we could say that how you think and how you feel create a state of being. I want you to understand that when I use the term state of being and state of mind, Your physical body is a part of that state. In fact, as you will see later on, many people exist in a state in which the body has become the mind, when they are ruled almost exclusively by the body and how it feels. So when I talk about the observer having an effect, it is not just the brain that is at work influencing matter, but the body as well. It is your state of being when mind and body are one as an observer, which has effects on the external world. Thoughts and feelings produce test tube results. It's pretty good to know. We communicate with the quantum field primarily through our thoughts and feelings. Since our thoughts are themselves energy, as you know, the electrical impulses the brain generates can easily be measured by devices such as an EEG. They are one of the primary means by which we send out signals into the field. Before I go into greater detail on how this works, I want to share with you a remarkable study that demonstrates how our thoughts and feelings influence matter. Cellular biologist Glenn Ryan, PhD, conceived of a series of experiments to test healers' ability to affect biological systems. Since DNA is more stable than substances such as cells or bacterial cultures, he decided to have healers hold test tubes no, not contaminating. I think I have to be done soon. My eyes are done reading. He decided to have healers hold test tubes containing DNA, okay? The study took place at the Heart Math Research Center in California. These folks there have conducted extraordinary research into the physiology of emotions, heart-brain interactions, and much more. Essentially, they and others have documented a specific link between our emotional states and our heart rhythms. When we have negative emotions such as anger, fear, our heart rhythms become erratic and disorganized. In contrast, positive emotions, love and joy, for instance, produced highly ordered, coherent patterns that heart math researchers refer to as heart coherence. In Dr. Ryan's experiment, he first studied a group of 10 individuals who were very well practiced in using techniques that heart math teaches to build heart-focused coherence. They applied the techniques to produce strong, elevated feelings such as love, appreciation. Then for 2 minutes, they held vials containing DNA samples suspended in deionized water. And when those samples were analyzed, no statistically significant changes had occurred. A second group of trained participants did the same thing, but instead of just creating positive emotions, which is a feeling of love and appreciation, they simultaneously held an intention, a thought, to either wind or unwind the strands of the DNA. This group produced statistically significant changes in the conformation, the shape of the DNA samples. In some cases, the DNA was wound or unwound as much as 25%. A third group of trained subjects held a clear intent to change the DNA, but they were instructed not to enter into a positive emotional state. So they had the thought, but not the feeling. In other words, they were only using thought intention to affect matter. The result, no changes. This is why Neville Goddard says to think feelingly. You got to do both. It's like the both together. You have to direct, you have to have a clear, defined instruction. The minions don't know what they're doing. They're just dancing around, the little electrons. They need clear, defined instructions consistently, while also you are radiating the trust, surrender, belief, confidence from your being that it is so. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. It's like the currency. It's like they don't work for free, yo. They're expecting you to pay up with some excitement and some emotions behind it. The positive emotional state that the first group entered did nothing by itself to the DNA. Another group's clearly held intentional thought, unaccompanied by emotion, also had no impact. Only when subjects held both the heightened emotions and the clear objective in alignment were they able to produce the intended effect. Stuff is a little bit complicated, but it is very possible for all of us to master ourselves in this way. An intentional thought needs an energizer, a catalyst. That energy is an elevated emotion. Heart and mind working together, feelings and thoughts unified into a state of being. If a state of being can wind and unwind strands of DNA in 2 minutes, what does this say about our ability to create reality? So real. When the heart math experiment demonstrates what that experiment demonstrates is that the quantum field doesn't respond simply to our wishes, to our emotional requests. It doesn't just respond to our aims or to our thoughts, to whatever the fleeting moment says. It only responds when those two are aligned, coherent, and that is when they are broadcasting the same signal. When we combine an elevated emotion with an open heart and a conscious intention, defined intention with clear thought, we signal the field to respond in amazing ways. The quantum field responds not to what we want. The quantum field responds to who we are being. I'm going to wrap it up here. Be blessed, be well, be free. Come back for the next one.